So I'm going to show how to write a method. Okay, we're gonna go with implement a Java class with x to 10. We're gonna put in Android, right? Tutorial here. So use Android. So we said x should be a double type because we can take x can be any like decimal numbers. So that means we want to create a function just like in math, right? You can say x right here. But in Java, we supposed to give the type to it. So we supposed to get double as a type, right? So I just create a method named age, which taking a parameter x. Now, there's a red arrow there showing that there's a problem here because method is supposed to return, because it's double, it's supposed to return something like when x passing in is going to do power of 10 and return the value of x to the power of 10. So we need to take care of return. Return should be x to the power of 10. How do we make x to the power of 10? A simple way, if we don't use math.pow, right? So we can either use loop, right? And make it multiply, or you can just simply type like that 10 times, right? But I'm not sure if that's the way that we want to do, right? So when it's repeating over and over again, and the reason why the requirements say I don't want you to use math.pow, and I don't want to use you to really write that x times x times x, because I want you to practice on using loop, right? So while, right, we're going to declare, you can use for loop or while. So we can say int I equal to 0, right? So if you're still having issue with the loop, you can review the previous video that we talked about loops, right? From the previous class exercise, the 4.2 here, right? So we initialize I equal to 0. Now it's less than, we're gonna do I equals to 10, right? I equals to 1 and less than equals to 10, right? And then it's pretty much just doing multiplication. And we can do this operation, right? X times equals x. That means it's going to keep multiply to itself, right? Once, twice, third, and right until 10 times, which depending on the loop here. Now this can be 0. If it's 0, then it's just less than 10, right? So it's going to do 10 times. It can be 1 if it's less than or equals to 10. And then you just return x. So what we make is we make a function in math named h of x. That h of x is going to find exponents of x to the 10, and then you map that into Java code. It just look like that. Now we're going to test this program. So how do we call this function? So come back to our Android here, right? So we can just run this, and using emulator I'm gonna run it. But let's look at our old code first. Our old code here, we set on create, right? So this is just a main method for Android, and now it's going to call the onCreate, do the save instance and set content view. This is just pretty much the default. Whenever you create it, you can have these 2 lines that read in the content view from R, which is the resource that we talked about last time. You can review from previous video when we review the Android, which is under layout, r.layout, and activity main, which is this part that show up this screen where you can drag and drop, right? Now what we're going to do is I'm going to test just call this, right? Call this function. Instead of, like now, last time we pretty much say, okay, we're going to name this hello world, which is type of, if you look at the type, text view, right? So text view, name greeting text. So we keep ID. So that's why we say file view by ID. We can pretty much access to greeting text. Alright, and cast it back to text view type. Then we have a control to that text, right? So now I'm going to make that text to show the answer, okay, of x to the power of 10, which is called hx. So now how to do that? We actually can, instead of do append, right? So append that we did is pretty much append the word hello world with the welcome to CSC200 class, and just do append another output, which is print all the odd numbers between 1 and 50, right? So we can actually create another method for this too, right? I'm going to move it and show you, like we don't have to remove that. So it's going to return a string instead of double, a string of all the odds. So instead of calling h, I can say odd numbers, right? And put a code back in there. Now string output, I technically just want to put it here now, right? And it's going to return output, right? And it could take the parameter now. Parameter is going to take pretty much, I'm going to say int, like the size or the range, like between 1 to 50 or 1 to 100. So it's going to go there now, right? Return numbers between, and that's why comment is very important now with the Java doc comment, that telling you what does it mean size. So it's a good practice that you always want to comment on the top of each method. Okay, so when you generate Java doc, it's going to take this comment to the index, to your HTML file Java doc, like when we read. So like size, you should specify what does it mean size, and you should know how to use your method now, right? The range of odd numbers to return, something like that, right? For example, if size equals to 50, the program will return odd numbers between 1 and 50, right? So just make it more details, right, to the users, which I think this can actually go into the detail of the program. I'm moving it up, right? So, and just say this method, right, will return odd numbers. So return odd numbers. Make sense? So we actually try to create our own like square root, like math.square root, math.pow now. We try to create our own class now. And then we can make it as a library. Like if I want to print out odd numbers, I don't need to decide the logic anymore. I can just call like my class name dot odd numbers, right? Something like that, right? We should learn in the next following section how to do that. Okay, so but at this point I want you just to understand the concept of the methods. And you should do a good practice by putting comments. Same thing here. I should make a comment here, right? Okay, so this method returns this method will return x to the power of 10. Something like that, right? And x, what's x? The number base, right? Right. For example, this should go to this x to the power of 10, right? When x is 2, what's 2 power of 10? The method will return $1,024. So that's how you write the Java doc comments. Okay, just tell what is the parameter x for the base, right? And return x to the exponents of 10, right? And explain what's the method for. So now we're done with creating methods. I want to show you how to use it, right? So to use this and to make it program and show on Android, we understand that this refers to that text. So let's make simple first. I'm going just to test by append this h and just pass in x like 2, right? So now append may require you to put the characters sequence, not double. So that's why it's just showing that. So one way we can just convert double, right, to string, right, which become a character sequence, which is string, right? So now it should be able to output the answer right there, which we can try to reload that and see if it's showing 1024. Let's say infinity, right? We pretty much have to do a new line here then. So meaning that it's when I pass 2 in, it's go here, 2 stamps. Oh, okay. So I might want to, because if you look at it, it just keeps timing itself and assign to itself, right? So what does it mean x time equals x? If you write it out, it means x equal to x times x, right? So 2 equals to 2 times 2, which is 4, right? And then it's going to go back again, 4 times 4, which is 16. And 16 times 16. This is not what we want. That's not exponents, right? So that logic is wrong. So we're going to fix the logic. So problem is this should not be changing. So I'm going to declare product, right? And this is a double product. And we're going to make a process like that. Product equals to x times x. But product has to assign with x. And when we get in the loop, it has to be product equals to product.